Hey everybody. I'm down to about 7 games, maybe 6. I think it's 7 actually, in the Atlanta Braves 1987 replay. They just finished their home schedule. They're going on a 7 game road trip to finish the season. But I thought I would diverge from that for just a few minutes and talk about what is going to be upcoming in either late January or early February. In the past couple of years, I've used Stratomatic and played May Madness, which mimics the college basketball tournament, by taking 64 or 32 teams and running them through not the best players from each team, but individual teams, and running them through a single elimination tournament a la March Madness. But now that I've gotten quite a few History Maker seasons over the couple of years, as well as the Fall Classic set that I bought recently that has a whole bunch of World Series teams on it, I've got enough teams now to do what I call a play madness, or what I will call a play madness. Doesn't have to be in May, obviously. Doesn't have to be in March. It can be any time. But if I started in about late January, and it will go through February, and the championships will probably lead into March. So to me, that seems to be a decent timing to do it. Now, there's also, if you follow the NCAA tournament at all, you know there's a play-in game, or there are several play-in games. So what I did is I have 32 teams for the tournament, single elimination tournament, basically just cutting the first round out and making 32 instead of 64. But then also have 4 extra teams that are going to be in the play-in games. And so what I did is I seeded the teams based on their one-loss record, no matter what what their time frame was, or whether they were 1900s, 2000s, whatever. I know over different time periods it can be a little, you have to be, I guess, objective about it and not favor one over the other. But rather than try to make my judgments, I just went by the one-loss records of each team. But I'll talk about that tournament when we get closer. What I wanted to do today was feature 2 of the teams that I created using the Play.com player creation booklet. And if you have History Maker Baseball but do not have the Play.com booklet, I would highly suggest it. If you're into creating your own teams at all, it's only $6 and it's well worth the investment. Keith basically lays out for you exactly how he produces these cards and how he rates them defensively, how he rates them, based for the pitchers based on ERA, strikeouts, and walks. For hitters, their batting average, their slugging percentage, their walks, their strikeouts, and their steals. And the book just kind of lays it all out for you. There's no guesswork. If a player, for instance, hits 220, well, there's a slot in Keith's system that says a 220 hitter is this, either their utility, sad sack, whatever. I don't have it in front of me, but whatever it is, that 220, any 220 hitter is going to fall into that same category, so you get that quality. And so I just think that book is, or a little book that's only about, I think maybe 6 pages, but it's very easy, user-friendly, and very easy to do, to create your own. On the Play.com free site, there is a player creation Excel file that's blank that you could use to start with, and that's kind of what I did with these. So what I did is I created basically 5 teams to put into the mix. Actually, 4 teams. I have to double check. It might be 4 or 5. I don't remember. I created 5 teams, but I may only use 4. So I have to figure out. I don't have my little tournament in front of me, so I got to figure out if I'm going to use all of them and have 5 playing games, or what I'm going to do. But what I created, the first one I created was another World Series team. And I could say World Series because I'm not selling anything. I know Keith is that's probably a trademark that's why Keith has to call it a Fall Classic versus a World Series. But hey, I'm not selling anything, so I can call it a World Series all I want. And I can use logos all I want. So what I did was I went way back into the Wayback Machine, going over 100 years ago, And there was a pretty famous World Series from 1912 between the Boston Red Sox and the New York Giants. This is the Red Sox team that had Smokey Joe Wood as well as Tris Speaker. And the New York Giants had a very solid pitching staff led by Christy Mathewson. And they also had a gentleman by the name of Fred Merkle. He did what's called the Merkle Boner. It wasn't in 2012, it was earlier, but still. When you got a guy named Fred Merkle and another guy named Fred Snodgrass, the two Freds, I just felt like they were interesting to do. So I created the New York Giants of John McGraw, the manager, and I created the Boston Red Sox. There's a picture of their manager, Jake Stahl. So they're in there. I also created the 1927 New York Yankees. You can see a picture of Miller Huggins right there. So, and some of these players that I've been creating, I found a way to add pictures to them. For some of them, I didn't add pictures. I just added logos. So in this case, for Lou Gehrig, I just put the Yankee logo there. So that's the team there. Now the other two teams I created are the teams that are going to be playing in this game today. And that is the 2008 Philadelphia Phillies and the 2002 Oakland A's. Now the Phillies, when I created them, everything's just generic. There's no pictures and no artwork, no nothing. They're just there. For Oakland, I got a little spicier and put a picture on every player. So there's the manager, Art Howe, and you can see the record. They were 103-59, very good team. They just lost in the playoffs. So we're going to get this game started, and the two aces of the staff, even though neither one is rated as an ace, they are the best they have. And it's going to be Cole Hamels on the mound for the 08 Phillies. And he'll be opposed by Barry Zito. So two lefties are going. You can see I got a little picture of Barry Zito stuck in there. So just to add a little spice to it. I mean, it doesn't really change anything. Just add a little spice to it. And if anybody would like the Excel files for any of these five teams, just let me know and send me put a message in the video or send me your email or whatever, and I will get those out to you. I don't want to post these on play.com because Keith may come later on and want to sell one of these, and I don't want to be stepping on any toes. So this is strictly off the grid. If you want to do it, just gamer to gamer, off of what I've done, I'll be happy to share. But I don't want to, cross any lines there. So I'm not going to just post it on Facebook or something because that might not make Keith very happy. And I don't want to do that. So I want to keep everything off the grid. All right, so we're ready to go here. The umpires, obviously I don't have umpires from 2002 or 2008. So what I did is since this is kind of a fictional game anyway, or, one-off game, I just went and pulled umpires from the 2017 set. So we have Gary Cedarstrom at home. We have Adrian Johnson at first. We have Eric Cooper at second. And we have Gabe Morales at third. All right, the starting lineups for today's game. Leading off and playing in center field is the Flying Hawaiian, Shane Victorino. Batting second at shortstop is Jimmy Rollins. Hitting third at second base is Chase Utley. Batting cleanup in left field is Pat Burrell. Hitting fifth at first base is Ryan Howard. Hitting sixth in right field is Jason Worth. Batting seventh at third base is Pedro Feliz. And this time of the year, we could say Pedro Feliz Navidad. And the DH, since we are going to use the DH, it'll be Greg Dobbs. He'll be batting eighth. And batting ninth and catching is Carlos Ruiz. Now for the Oakland A's, it'll be Jason Giambi's little brother, Jeremy Giambi. He will lead things off and play in center field. Scott Hatteberg is at first base, and he will bat second. Miguel Tejada, the shortstop, will hit third. David Justice is in left field, and he will bat cleanup. Hitting fifth is the right fielder, Jermaine Dye. Eric Chavez at third base will bat sixth. And batting seventh will be the DH, Olmedo Saenz. And batting eighth is catcher Ramon Hernandez. Batting ninth is second baseman Mark Ellis. So there are your lineups. We're ready to go. I've called both teams neutral just because it's a one-off game and we're not doing anything with chemistries and so forth. So both teams are neutral. So I get one sip of coffee here. Okay. Coffee will probably go cold before I get where I need to be, but that's okay. Can always pause the video if I had to. All right, so Shane Victorino is going to lead things off to get us going. And we are at Oakland Alameda County Coliseum that plays semi-big to both righties and lefties. All right, so we've got a 1-3-4 is the first check. 1-3-4. So we go to the 1-3-4 in the book and ask, is it a gold catcher? And Ramon Hernandez is a semi-gold catcher. Desired Eye says he's a gold catcher. So that, in fact, is a strikeout unless Victorino has a good eye, which he does not. So the strikeout will hold, and Victorino is gone. And I'm using the Steve Tower generic. Number 2 hitter is hot. Number 9 hitter is cold. So just by default, I'm going to use that since it's a one-off game. So down goes Victorino, and here comes Jimmy Rollins, the shortstop. And we get a 1-3-4 again. That's the same roll I just had. I do this a lot. I don't know why, if it's something with the way I jiggle the dice, but I tend to roll the same roll back-to-back many, many times, and I just don't know why I do that. Could never do it in Vegas, that's for sure. But this time, the Desired Eye is blank, so he is not a gold catcher. So that means we can bypass that and go to the next result. Next result asks, is the batter a champion? Well, Jimmy Rollins is listed as a semi-hero, and that's it. So we're going to have outfield drama. So in the outfield for the A's, Jeremy Giambi is iron. Jermaine Dye is semi-iron, so obviously not very good fielding. Moneyball was more interested in on-base percentage and not so much in fielding, obviously. So let's see what we get. Well, it's a 1-1, but there's no Desired Eye, so everybody is neutral in the outfield drama. All right, it says 1-1, says right fielder gold. No, he's not. He's neutral. So it's going to be a single. I'm sorry, it's an easy fly out. Otherwise, single, right field bobbles ball, making play, batter goes to second base on an error. So how about that? It's a base hit for Jimmy Rollins. Jermaine Dye kind of bobbled it out there, and so he gets second base on the E9. So for the error by Jermaine Dye, that puts the runner on second base with 1 out. And that brings up Chase Utley. And we get a 1-1-3. So 1-1-3, we check and see what 1-1-3 has to offer. It asks, is the pitcher an ace? No, he's a star, but not an ace. So we skip that. Is the batter a slugger? Chase Utley is a semi-slugger, but Desired Eye says no. But he's still going to get a single to center field. There are 2 asterisks there, and that asks if he's a sad sack or a home run king. He is a semi-home run king, but again, with the Desired Eye being no, that's not going to play, so it is a base hit. Lead die of 1, you get 1 base unless there's 2 outs. There are not 2 outs, so Utley will single, and Jimmy Rollins will stop at third. So runners are at the corners with 1 out, as the Phillies have something cooking here in the first. Here's Pat Burrell. 1-2-5. I rolled a lead die of 1 just about every time. 1-2-5 asks, is he a struggler? No, he's not a struggler. Is Pat Burrell patient? Pat Burrell just happens to have the patient quality, so he will walk. However, there is the goggles, the glasses, and it says a strict umpire calls strike 3. Other umpires call ball 4. Well, Gary Cederstrom is not strict. He's respected, so the walk will hold, and we've got bases loaded with only 1 out, and the big guy, Ryan Howard, coming to the plate. So Ryan Howard in there against Barry Zito. And we get a 4-4-6. So first time with a lead die of 4. 4-4-6. Is he a star? Yes, he is. Barry Zito does have the star quality. So it is a ground out to second, but on lead die of 4, the runners are going to advance. So that's an RBI ground out. So Howard grounds out for out number 2, but Rollins will score. Credit an RBI for Howard. Puts runners at second and third with 2 outs for Jason Worth, and the Phillies lead it 1-0 here in the top of the first. Here's Jason Worth. 2-3-6, that's the double control, which is going to be a walk, and that's going to load the bases. So really no harm there because they may have been pitching around Worth anyway. But now the bases are loaded for a very tough hitter in Pedro Feliz. That's a 1-2-4, and a 1-2-4 is a control check. Does the pitcher have control? Well, Barry Zito has semi-control. Desired Eye says he has control, so therefore it's a ground out to short, and he gets out of the jam, only allowing the 1 run. So Zito pitching out some serious trouble. But the Phillies get the run, and after half an inning, it's Phillies 1 and the A's coming to bat. And Cole Hamels going to enjoy that early run support. He'll be facing Jeremy Giambi to lead off. We get a 1-2-2, and a 1-2-2. Ask if he's a workman. No, Cole Hamels, far from a workman. He's star with semi-flash and control. Is the batter a champion or a whiffer? Well, Jeremy Giambi just happens to be a whiffer, so that means he's going to nub a single. Whoop, let me get it focused here. He's going to nub a single to third base. So how about that? Jeremy Giambi playing a little Moneyball maybe with this small ball. He gets on first base. And I'll bring up Scott Hatteberg. 5.56. That could be good for Hatteberg. 5.56. Is he an ace? No, he's not an ace. He's a star. Is he a sad sack? No, Hatteberg, far from a sad sack. He's a semi-hero. So he will double to right field. He's not active. He's stoic, so he won't steal. But the double will score Giambi. And we now have a tie ball game at 1. So both of these top-notch pitchers are getting banged around a little bit here in the first as the bats have come to play. Here is Miguel Tejada. Still nobody out. 115. I think that's a freshness check. Usually those ones are. And it is. 115. He is fresh. It's a pop out to the infielder of our choice. Tejada's a righty. So we'll say he pops out to Jimmy Rollins. And, of course, Hatteberg has to hold. One away for David Justice, former Atlanta Brave, former Yankee. 145. 145 for Cole Hamels. Is he a struggler? No, he's not a struggler, so it's not a wild pitch. So, therefore, it's going to be a ground ball to first. And that's going to move the runner to third base, but now there's 2 outs. So, Hatteberg will scoot to third on that ground ball to first. Jermaine Dye up now with 2 outs, and Hatteberg at third. Score tied at 1 here in the first. Oh, look at this, a 1-1-1. That's not good if you're Cole Hamels. 1-1-1. Is he an ace? No. Is the batter a scrapper? No. Jermaine Dye is actually a semi-home run king. So, therefore, Jermaine Dye is just going to clip a 3-run shot. I'm sorry, a 2-run shot, because Hatteberg was on third. Nobody else was on. But it's a 2-run homer for Jermaine Dye. So, fireworks here in the first inning. And the A's now grab a 3-1 lead. And Cole Hamels looks a little chagrined. Here's Eric Chavez, or Chavez, however you want to pronounce it. 156. Is he a whiffer? Eric Chavez is a whiffer, so he will strike out, and that's going to end the bottom of the first. But the A's, thanks to the 2-run homer by Jermaine Dye, making up for that error he made in the top of the first, they lead it 3-1 as we go to the second. And leading things off will be the DH, Greg Dobbs. Now, if this game was actually being played, I doubt Dobbs will be the DH because he's a lefty and Zito's a lefty. But in History Maker, the left-rights only come up on that 3-5-6 roll, so they'll go ahead and try to use Dobbs instead of maybe Chris Coast. All right, 2-4-6 is a control check, and Zito is a semi-control, but the Decider die says no. So it asks, is the batter eager or sad sack? Well, Greg Dobbs just happens to be eager, so therefore he's going to pop it up to Eric Chavez, or Chavez. Still don't know how it's pronounced. Maybe somebody can tell me. Maybe it doesn't matter. All right, so it doesn't matter. So pop out to third. There's one away for Carlos Ruiz. And that's a 2-2-3. And a 2-2-3 is asking if the pitcher's wild. Now he's got semi-control. Is the batter slugger or utility? Well, Carlos Ruiz is utility. So therefore, he's going to line it to short. He's not a whiffer, so he won't strike out. It'll just simply be a line out to Tejada. And there's 2 up, 2 down, and maybe Zito's settling in after that first inning. And that brings up the flying Hawaiian, Shane Victorino. He struck out his first time up. 2-2-5. 2-2-5. Is he a star? Yes, Barry Zito is a star. So it's going to be a ground out to the infield of our choice. Victorino would be batting right-handed, so we'll say he grounds to Tejada to end the second inning. So nothing doing for the Phils here in the top of the second. We go to the bottom of the second. Cole Hamels going to see if he can't get back into the swing of things. He'll be facing Olmedo Saenz, the DH. Oh, and it's a 3-3-3. That's not good either. Get those triples. That's not going to help your pitching staff. 3-3-3, blank for the pitcher. Is he utility or sad sack? No. Olmedo Signs is none of that. So that's a triple to left field. A home run king gets a home run, but he's only a semi-slugger, not a home run king. But still, Olmedo Signs, even though he's semi-stoic, he was able to turn around the bases as the outfielders fuddle with the ball a little bit and gets a triple. So it's a leadoff triple. Brings up Ramon Hernandez. It's a 1-3-4, and a 1-3-4 ask about a gold catcher. The catcher in this case, Ruiz, is neutral, so he's not gold. Is he a champion? Ramon Hernandez is not a champion, so we're going to have outfield drama. And in the outfield for the Phils, unlike the A's, the Phils have good defense. We got semi-gold Victorino and gold Worth. So Worth is gold, everybody else is neutral. And it's a 5-5 on the outfield drama. 5-5, right fielder Iron. No, the right fielder Worth is actually gold. So it won't be a base hit. It's a drive to the gap handled easily for a flyout. But a lead die of 5 will mean that's a sacrifice fly. So that will score the run. As Worth makes a nice play, but Olmedo Signs will kind of jog in on that sac fly, and the A's lead it 4-1. Brings up number 9 hitter Mark Ellis, second baseman. We get a 1-2-2, and that's asking if he's a workman, which obviously Hamels is not a workman. So the next check is champ or whiffer, and Mark Ellis is a semi-whiffer, but the sire die says no. So therefore it's a line out to third, and that's out number 2. That was the same role that Giambi started the game off with a base hit. So this time the sire die says no whiffer, so no hit. Here's Jeremy Giambi, 2 outs, bases empty, run in though. 1-3-6. 1-3-6 asks, is he an ace, which he's not. Is he whiffer or cold? Well, Jeremy Giambi is a whiffer, so strikeout to end the inning. The whiffer got him the hit the first time. The whiffer strikes him out the second time. And that's going to do it for the A's. They do pick up a run after 2 innings. They lead it 4-1. And Hamels looking a little chagrined. And that'll bring up Jimmy Rollins. Rollins, a 2-2-4. That's the pitching at home. And we're in Oakland, so yes, Barry Zito will benefit from that. It's a pop out to short. And there's one away. So Rollins is out of there. I'm going to bring up Chase Utley. Singled his first time up. It is a 1-2-5. 1-2-5 is not a struggler. Is he patient? Chase Utley is not patient. So he's going to ground to third unless he's a whiffer. He's a semi-whiffer, but the sire die, it says not this time. So it's simply a ground ball to the third baseman, Chavez, to make it out number 2, not to end the inning. That's the second out. Here's Pat Burrell, left fielder. He walked his first time up. 1-1-5. That's usually a freshness check, which it is. We're in the third inning. He's still fresh. It's his last full inning of freshness. It's a pop-up to the infielder of our choice. We'll say he pops up to Chavez at third, and the inning is over. So Zito perhaps is settling in. It's now a 4-1 ball game as we go to the bottom of the third. It'll be Hatteberg to step up against Cole Hamels. It's a 2-5-5. 2-5-5 asks, is he a star? Yes, Cole Hamels is a star. So that's a strikeout unless the batter Hatteberg has a good eye. Hatteberg is semi-patient but does not have the good eye, so he will be a victim of a strikeout for out number 1. Brings up Miguel Tejada. Tejada, 5.66. 5.66. Is he wild? No, just Tejada have a good eye. No, he doesn't. He's actually eager. So he will strike out, and that's 2 away. And now we go to the right now chart for the at-bat from David Justice. Justice is neutral because he grounded out his first time up. Cole Hamels is semi-hot based on those strikeouts. So we have a semi-hot pitcher against a neutral batter. Now they're both neutral. 3-6. Cold pitcher, no. So it's a pop-out to the catcher. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Cole Hamels, and he needed it. And at the end of 3, the score is Oakland 4 and the Phillies 1. Start So we're at the top of the fourth. Now both pitchers are semi-fresh. And we got Ryan Howard to lead things off. Grounded to second, hit an RBI ground out his first time up. 3-4-6, 3-4-6. And we'll check the 3-4-6 result, which is blank for the pitcher. Is he eager? Actually, Ryan Howard is rated as semi-patient. So he's going to walk. He's stoic, so he's not going to steal, but the walk will lead off the inning. And that result was in purple, so we will go to the chemistry chart, which both teams are predisposed to be neutral, being it's just the one-off game here. So Jason Worth batting off the chemistry chart. 1-6. 1-6. Batting team distance. No, they're not distant. They're neutral, so it's another walk as Jason Worth gets his second walk. He's walked both times. So he gets on, puts 2 runners on, nobody out. That's the way you get back in this game, is to put base runners on. And now here's Pedro Feliz. 5-5-6. That could be good. 5-5-6. Good if you're the batter, I mean. 5-5-6. Is he an ace? No. Is he a sad sack? No, he's not. So it's a double to right field for Pedro Feliz. And that puts 2 runs on the board for the Phillies. As Feliz Navidad doubles in 2 runs, cuts the lead to 4-3. And there's still nobody out. So Feliz at second, nobody out for Greg Dobbs, the DH. And we get a 2-4-4. 2-4-4. 2-4-4. Is he an ace? No, he's not. Is he a champion? Greg Dobbs is a semi-champion, but Desire Dice says he's not in this at-bat. So he will ground out to short unless he's a whiffer. And Greg Dobbs just happens to be a whiffer, so he's going to strike out. So the decider die was the difference there between a single and a strikeout was the dot, or the lack thereof. So he strikes out. And now we'll go to Carlos Ruiz, the number 9 hitter, as Feliz is still on second base with 1 out. Here's Ruiz. He lined to short his first time up. 2-3-6. That's the automatic walk pretty much, unless you're double control. So that puts 2 on with only 1 out for Shane Victorino. 1-1-3 for Zito. 1-1-3. He's not an ace. Victorino is not a slugger. So he will single to center field. He will single to center, but a lead die of 1 with less than 2 outs, that's just going to load the bases. So the bases are now loaded. And Zito in a little bit of trouble. Art Howell may be looking to get some bullpen activity going here. Here's Jimmy Rollins. Bases loaded and 1 out. They need to double play ball in the worst way. 2-2-4. Well, they'll get the home field advantage again because the 2-2-4 is a pop out to short, pitching at home. So Rollins got stuck on that last time. That's the second time in a row Rollins has rolled a 2-2-4. And that home field advantage for the A's comes into play. So, infield fly roll. Everybody stays where they are. There's now 2 outs for Chase Utley. And that's a 1-2-3. That's flash and fresh. He's not flash or fresh because the dot says he's not, but it's a ground ball to short anyway. And that's going to end the 4th inning. But the Phillies pick up 2. Could have had more, but couldn't quite deliver with men in scoring position. And we go to the bottom of the 4th. It's 4-3 in favor of the A's. Hamels, we'll see if he can keep it going after getting some run support. Here's Jermaine Dye. It's a 1-2-4, and that is a control check. And Cole Hamels does not even need the desired die. He's got it if he wanted it, but he doesn't need it. Control check is a ground ball to short. So Dye, after the home run his first time up, will hit a weak grounder to Jimmy Rollins for out number 1. 1 away for Eric Chavez. That's a 4-5-5. So 4-5-5. Does the pitcher have flash? Yes, he's got semi-flash. Desire Die says he has flash. So we got semi-flash, and Desire Die says he has it. That's a strikeout unless Chavez has a good eye, which he does not. He's actually a whiffer. So Chavez will strike out for the second time. He's 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. And that'll bring up Almedo Signs. And as I look at the scorecard, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8 batters in a row retired by Hamels. In fact, the last guy to get a hit was Almedo Signs. He got a triple. See if he can do it this time. 1-5-6. 1-5-6 is going to ask if he's a whiffer. And Almedo Signs certainly is a whiffer, so he will strike out. And that is now 9 in a row retired by Cole Hamels. And out of those 9, 5 have been by the whiff. So Cole Hamels getting into gear. Had a rough first inning, but it's pretty much smooth sailing since. And we go to the fifth. It is 4-3 in favor of the A's. And Pat Burrell will step up to lead off against Zito. 1-1-3. He's not an ace. Is the batter a slugger? Pat Burrell is a semi-slugger. Sire Die says no, not this time. But he's going to hit a single to center field. He's a semi-home run king, but again, the Sire Die would say no, so it's a single for Pat Burrell. He will lead things off, and now maybe Art Howe can squirm a little bit, get his bullpen going. Here's Ryan Howard. Look at this, 4-4-4. That's not good for Barry Zito. 4-4-4. He's definitely not a scrapper. It's a double to right field, but you got the 3 asterisks, which means if he's a home run king, he hits a home run. And as you might expect, Ryan Howard is a home run king, so that is a 2-run shot for Ryan Howard, and the Phillies have come all the way back to take a 5-4 lead. And now the A's bullpen is going in earnest. Chad Bradford, the side-winding right-hander, is now loosening in the bullpen. Maybe one batter too late. We don't know. Here's Jason Worth. Now that the Phillies have the lead, it's a 2-4-5, which is asking if he's a hero. Jason Worth, the 2-4-5, asks if he's a hero. Worth is a semi-hero, but the Sire Die says not this time. So it's going to be a pop out to second. And that result was in red, so we will go to the experience chart for Pedro Feliz. And both Zito and Feliz are of the neutral variety. So neutral against neutral on this experience check. 5-5 on the experience check. 5-5. That's going to be a walk. So it's a walk. Oh, I'm sorry, take it back. Roll to side or die. I was making presumptions here. Roll to side or die for base on balls or strikeout. Now, I don't remember if the book says which one is which. I guess you just have to pick which one it is. So what I'm going to do here is if it's a dot, it's a walk. And if it's a blank, it's a strikeout. It's a dot, so it's a walk. So it's a walk to Feliz. And he reaches. Brings up Greg Dobbs. And might not be much longer for Zito to be in this game. 1-4-4. I believe that's a flash check, which Zito has semi-flash, but the Sire Die says not this time. So we skip that. Is the batter a hero? Greg Dobbs is not a hero. He's a semi-champion, but he's not a hero. So he's going to ground to short unless he's a whiffer, which he happens to be because of that thumb there. So that's a strikeout. So Greg Dobbs out on strikes for out number 2. Brings up the catcher, Carlos Ruiz. So Zito's going to see if he can get through this inning and then start with Bradford fresh in the 6th. 2-3-6, that's going to be a walk again, so that's almost guaranteed to happen. So there's a bases loaded situation now with Victorino up, and they may not be able to wait for Bradford. I think they're going to pull the trigger now because they need an ace in there. So Chad Bradford is going to come on, the side-winding right-hander, and he will be an ace on this first at-bat. So that could be critical with the bases loaded and 2 outs and the Phillies leading 5-4. The A's don't want it to be any worse. He's going to be facing Shane Victorino. And we get a 3-4-5. 3-4-5. Iron catcher. No, he's not iron. Does Victorino have a good eye? No, he doesn't. So that's a strikeout. And that's going to end the inning. The ace quality really didn't come into play there, but either way, that is a with the home run from the 2-run shot from Howard. The Phillies are now up 5-4. We go to the bottom of the 5th. That result was in blue. So we will go to the right now chart. And Hamels struck out Signs his last time up, so he is a semi-hot pitcher. And Hernandez is a sac fly, so he's neutral. All right, so we got a hot pitcher against a neutral batter on the right now chart. That's a 2-2. So 2-2 as we flip to the right now chart. 2-2 says cold pitcher. No, he's not a cold pitcher. If he was, we'd have a fence check, but otherwise it's a line out to third. So he lines it to Feliz. Hit it hard, but lined it right to Feliz for 1 away. Brings up Mark Ellis. 266. That's the one about the leadoff batter. Or runner being picked off first, but there's nobody on. He's not the leadoff batter, so that's a fly to right. 2 up, 2 down, and that's 11 in a row retired by Cole Hamels. So he has certainly put the kibosh on the A's in the last few innings. Here's the top of the order and Jeremy Giambi. 1-2-2 is asking about a workman. He is not a workman. Is the batter a champ or whiff? This is the same one that he got the base hit on to start the game. If he's a whiffer, he gets a base hit, and of course, Giambi is that whiffer. So that's the second time he's benefited from that particular result. That breaks up the string of retired batters. And that brings up Scott Hatteberg. 2 outs and Giambi at first. Hatteberg, 3-5-6. That's a left-right check, so this time Hatteberg got caught by it. Lefty against a lefty, that's a strikeout. And that's going to end the 5th inning. So, you know, one thing about History Maker Baseball, you can kind of put the matchups and not worry about lefty-righties, but the minute you do that in a key situation, that 3-5-6 will come up, and you'll get burned. So there you go. All right. That wasn't the case there because it wasn't a pinch hit or anything, but still, you don't think it's going to come up, and it does. All right, here's Jimmy Rollins to lead off. He's the last 2 times up, he has found the 2-2-4 result and got punished by the fact that he's on the road, and the pitcher's gotten the benefit of the home field advantage. So he's going to see if he can avoid that 2-2-4 this time. And he does in a big way, 1-1-1. I'd say he certainly did. That's going to be a home run for Jimmy Rollins because he is not a scrapper. That is a home run for Jimmy Rollins. So Jimmy Rollins just took Chad Bradford deep off the 1-1-1. And the Phillies now grab a 6-4 lead. They were down 4-1. Now they're up 6-4. They are rolling. That'll bring up Chase Utley. 1-1-2. Almost had that 1-1-1 again, didn't we? 1-1-2 asked, does the pitcher have flash? No, Bradford does not have flash. Is the batter a sad sack? Utley's not a sad sack. So we got check with scorer. And basically what that's going to happen, he's going to reach. It's just a matter of whether it's a hit or an error. And to determine that, we roll 1 die and check the micro chart called score. The die is a 5. We go to micro chart score. It is an error on either the second baseman